All right. On tonight's report, we will be capitalizing on foreign policy, but first you wanted to get to the crowd's reaction
Oh yeah, I've just been
on the
noticing
debate.
recently that these crowds' reactions has been very vocal, and it's kind of surprising because in the past, even 4 years ago, I mean, I don't remember the crowds being this crazy. Even people have been commenting on the crowd's reaction. You know, the crowds are booing the moderators, not even
Yeah,
just the.
that was unacceptable, by the way. I must interject about this, about Juan Williams, and
Oh yeah.
the whole race issue is
Mm.
very alarming to me because, you know, it didn't get racial. I agree with Juan Williams until he, reeled in the whole NAACP.
And then everybody's sitting around being like, well, it wasn't really racial. It wasn't really racial. And it's like, he mentions the NAACP. What do you?
This is what conservatives all around, whether you're black, white, Asian, Mexican, it doesn't matter. What conservatives all around need to understand is you can't always base it on the economy, being like, oh, well, it was an economic question, an economical question, and that's the skirt that a lot of people want to hide under. But when you're flat out saying things like blah, people, I have no more respect for you.
Yeah.
None. I mean, man up to it.
Well, what I want to
Man up to it. Say that, yes, it was about race. People
Yeah.
will have more respect
for
you.
And well, because everybody knows that he essentially lied about that. I mean, he didn't say blah. Just give me a break. But I wanted to know what you thought about what Paul says in regards to race, because all he ever talks about is the drug war.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And how the incarceration rates among different nationalities and stuff.
And let me highlight something here real fast. Anybody who gets that up in arms about race, about being accused of being a racist, like Ron Paul has been for the past few months now, and then right away puts a positive campaign ad featuring, black individuals, saying, it's like that same common comment we've been talking about a lot. It's like, no, I'm not racist. My best friend is black.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Like,
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, he should have just brushed off the comments. If you can't take the heat now, how are you going to take the heat when you become president, when all the other presidents around the world are facing you down, like Ahmadinejad and President Vladimir Putin, who will be in office in 2012.
That's true, yeah.
And not to mention the French people are holding their elections as well, and Sarkozy will not be president.
Yeah, no, he won't be.
So that delves into our topic while we're there talking about the other presidents around the world. We want to talk about foreign policy. And whose foreign policy do you seem to agree with the most?
Foreign policy-wise?
Yes.
Honestly, to a certain extent, I do agree with Paul. I think that we extend ourselves way too far around the world.
World police.
The world police. We have this whole idea that we need to either police the world or we need to bring the world to democracy or something. I don't know, but I agree we need to stop funding to pull our troops out from a lot of places. Maybe not
No
every
doubt.
place.
I mean, Japan for one.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no reason why we're still in Japan,
It's like our own little colony,
Right.
there. It's our own little colonies all around the world, and we sit here and say, oh, it's so horrible that all these other countries created colonies, and we have our own.
Right. I mean, this country is great, and we have a lot to offer, and we need to start saving our money, and I think that we need to start negotiating more. And I hate to say this, I really hate to say it, but it goes back to that whole saying about Democrats talk the talk and Republicans walk the walk. Republicans will cut spending, they'll cut government funding.
Yeah.
Just like Speaker Boner said. He said, read my lips. I will cut spending. But what we need to understand is the Democrats, that's the thing about them, is they talk the talk. They're better negotiators.
They're better negotiators.
In my opinion,
They're
if you will, better speakers.
Debaters.
And I really think that we should cultivate more relationships with the Middle East, like more positive relationships. I think that we should be having peace talks with, Iran, and we finally got the troops out and everything. And
well, look at it this way: when was the Israeli-Palestinian relations and even that whole area, the relations between us and the Middle East, when were they the best? And it was under Bill Clinton, because he could talk. He talked a lot.
That's true. But we won't talk about him. But one thing I also wanted to talk about real quick was the whole sense of the job creation. I want to talk about job creation and job destruction, if you will. And one of the candidates I would like to point out is Rick Santorum, because he is the most old-fashioned in that sense. I don't think that we should be bringing back the coal mines and stuff. And look at how he handled that, poor woman that was, still middle-aged. She's not ready to retire yet. She's still, her husband lost the job, if I recall. This was at the Mike Huckabee Forum with the undecided South Carolinian, if you will, voters. And one woman got up there, said her husband lost her job. She was a middle-aged woman. They're still in, great shape. They can still go back to work for probably 2 more decades, And she said, what am I going to do? And basically, or she said, how will you help the economy in that sense? And Rick Santorum went on to say, basically, go back to the coal mines.
Yeah. She's like, jobs, we're going to bring back ironwork.
She's like no. Like, she straight up said, I'm not equipped. My husband's not equipped for that.
I seem to recall that he worked at oh no, it was her who lost her job. I thought
it was her husband, and she would like to work too. I think,
it was at it wasn't at a job like that. It was at a job where they were like a secretary.
It was a white collar job or whatever, and that's why Rick Santorum said, that's not, coal mining is not just blue collar jobs and whatnot, or and it just. He got that was a very poor way to answer the question. How can you tell somebody who's been basically, for example, working in, the corporate industry their whole life, and then tell them to basically go into coal mining?
Yeah.
I think that, we should have both. We should have the choice to have coal mining, whatever, and also other jobs, because, like, white-collar jobs, if you will, because... or green jobs, I meant to say, not white collar. Green jobs, because it's a great way to transition.
We definitely need a
good transition.
Because that's part of the problem. I feel like Obama and a lot of the Democrats are trying to sort of push us over the cliff when it comes to the green energy stuff. And it's like, well, we're not going to do any of the other stuff that we used to do. We're just going to go directly to these green jobs, and then all these people who are trained, to do the older jobs, like, the oil and the coal manufacturing, all those people are out of jobs, and then there's nobody trained for these new jobs.
Exactly, and so that's why I think that, we should have a balance of both. But, so that wraps it up tonight. It's a pretty long video, so we'll see. Good night.